Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Her Playbook podcast with Devon and Jaden. We just came back from a very long couple weeks, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we started our professional career, I guess. We had our first tournament of the summer. It was the AVP Huntington event, and it was so much fun. Like, how crazy was that?
Insane. So because Jaden and I, it's a whole like thing with points, and it's a very complicated way to say it, but we had to play in the qualifier event, which means that it's a single elimination tournament, and you have basically, you have to win 3 matches
32
all in
teams.
one day, 32 teams, and 4 teams make it out. And so that's the day before the main draw starts. And so for us on Thursday, we had to step in and play 3 teams who were 3 really hard teams. Like, I don't think there was ever a match where I was like, oh, this is a breeze. Also, Jaden and I have not played together in
6 months.
6 months.
Maybe more.
And so it was a lot going into it. And like, there's a certain balance you have to have because we had just finished season. So it's like, I don't want to start right now, like the day after.
Yeah.
But we took 2 days of break and then we started training back together. And then I think we got probably like 3 practices in, and then we had to step out together.
Yeah.
The first match I feel like was a good adjustment period. It was like an easier team because of the seedings. And it was nice to like get back in the flow of things and like just get with it, knowing that we have like a very long day potentially ahead of us.
Yeah.
And then, the next 2 matches I would say were like a dogfight. Like, they were like down to the wire. I mean, we were playing some really good teams who arguably shouldn't be in that qualifier position. And we ended up qualifying on that Thursday, and then we moved into Friday.
Yeah, the qualifier in itself is such an exhausting day, like you were saying. 3 matches is not easy to do. No. And especially coming off, a little bit of a break, it was just like you have to put your heart and soul into every single point.
Yeah.
So when that ball dropped and we won, it felt so good, and it was so much fun. And then we hurried home to our banquet. We had our senior banquet that night. So it was a quick turnaround, and then we had to be up early for the main draw the next day.
And so for the main draw too, we ended up playing against Alex and April, who are the last Olympic gold medalists, which was insane already. But we're coming off of the day before having to play 3 full matches, and these people are coming off of nothing and get to like start their tournament on that Friday. Yeah. So it's interesting because I would say at some point it's a disadvantage, but at some point it's also an advantage. I would say for me on Friday, it's an advantage because I'm still feeling good. Yeah. But when it comes to like the last couple points in the last game, that's when I'm like, man, I just played 3 full matches and I'm exhausted.
Totally.
But what did you think, or what did you feel about that Friday match?
Oh my gosh, it was so cool. Like we could insert some photos. Yeah. But we played on the stadium court, which is the court with all the broadcasting, the cameras, the bleachers surround the place, and there's a lot of hype to be on the stadium court. And there's definitely some added nerves playing against literally one of the top teams ever
to exist.
Yeah. And so, that morning I was mostly just really excited, a little nervous, but more just excited to like have the opportunity to play against these insane elite athletes. So walking in, we kind of had no expectations, and we got to just kind of like play free. And if they get a point, if they side out, like it's like, oh, they're supposed to do that.
Totally.
So it's not like you weren't like mad. Totally. Like, I'm pretty sure they sided out every single ball in the first set. Like, they were on fire. They were so good. And
it was also their first match back. So it's like, I knew it was their first match back. They both just had babies, and like they're coming off of like, they had been training obviously for the past couple of months. So I knew the like game was going to start one of 2 ways. They were either going to be on fire or it was going to be the opposite and be like, wow, this is harder than I expected. And it definitely started with them on fire.
And of course it did, because it's literally, it's also muscle memory. Like they have so much experience playing, and it's like the fact that they came out and played so well also is just not really surprising.
You can tell too, like you don't have to be in your best physical shape and you can still play against them, and like, or they don't have to be in their best physical shape because they know it. Like they're so beyond experienced. I mean, especially like April Ross has played in this is I think she's played in 3 Olympics. She has a gold, a silver, and a bronze. So it's like she's a very decorated athlete. She's been playing against top athletes for a very long time.
Yes.
So I knew it was like no matter what, she's going to know where the ball is going and she's going to know what to do with it. So it was a matter of like how we were going to attack them. Almost.
The announcer came up to us before the game and was like, so like what's the game plan? Like, you guys going to serve?
Yeah.
And we were like, neither.
I don't know.
Can I choose neither? We were like, we're just gonna have to go out there and serve our hardest ball because they're both phenomenal athletes. So anyway, the first set they won 21-15, and I was fine with our performance. I feel like we were actually siding out pretty well too. And then the second set, what was our mentality, or what do you think our mentality was going into the second set?
I think the second set, well, like volleyball wise, I think we had picked up that like April was getting a little tired. So we were like, okay, we are going to attack her like hard because like we're coming off of that match. And like if you were to watch back the clips, like after that first set, we're smiling. Anytime a point is happening, like we are full smiles, just having fun. And that was such an advantage to us because we have no expectations. Like we are supposed to lose this match. It's the 2 versus the 15 seed. We're supposed to lose it bad too. So like getting a point on the board was already an accomplishment for us. So I think for the second set, at least like for me, it was to continue having fun and to just keep moving the ball around. Like keep doing what you can and just finding little opportunities and trying to convert them.
Especially against a 6'5" blocker. Like how often do you really play against someone of like that caliber? It's like, our mentality was to pass the ball and move it around as much as possible and then just continue with the aggressive mentality. And then also playing defense, like we started to pick up some defensive points, which gave us a little bit of a lead in the middle, and we were like, okay, what's happening? We went into the technical, and I think that we were we up 11-10? We were up 11-10, and then I knew that like they were going to keep putting us point for point. So it was a matter, like we needed our stretch to be a little bit bigger because I knew if it was going to be between point and point, they were going to win because like they're going to get the random defense balls because they just know how to do it. And so I think that it was really helpful because we started serving a lot tougher, and we also started like really focusing on our defense plans and just like having me stay up at the net and then having you just like do your thing back there. And so it ended up working out for us in the second set, and we won, I think it was 21-16. And like I'll insert a clip here. Our faces after like that, Jaden got an ace on that last like second set point, and it was just like, oh my God. Like, did that actually just happen? Like now, and then in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, we can actually win this thing. I was like, let's go win this thing. Totally. And then went to the third, and I don't know, we started off well. I think the first side switch was 3-2. And then one of the best things about their partnership is their serving. I think it's their biggest strength. They definitely got on a little service run. They
for sure.
Trickle ace, a few points that just kind of went their way. They started to play some good defense. But overall, I mean, we ended up losing the match. But it was such a cool opportunity, and I don't know, just to even say that we got to play against Alex Kleiman and April Ross, like how cool is that? Like
it's amazing. And I think for me, I had played against them 2 years ago and I got whooped. Like I got my ass beat. It was like 21-10 and 21-11. So like to know that like we weren't playing together at the time, of course, but like to know that like 2 years later and like I'm getting that much closer. And I also think that most people there's 2 ways to like look at a loss like that. It's to be really frustrated that you were so close but you couldn't do it, or it's to be like, oh my God, I'm that close. Like that means I'm that much closer to being able to beat like any team in this arena. And so then, we went back to the hotel. They gave us a hotel, which was so nice. We stayed there with our boyfriends. So we did like a little couples vacation. It was really nice. It was like, as soon as that ball dropped and we went back to the hotel, I felt like I was literally on vacation. It was so nice.
Beautiful. So we ended up finishing 9th in the tournament after we played 2 more matches on Saturday. And I think we were both really, really happy and excited about our result, and just excited that was our first tournament back, and just with the projection of how we're doing, it's just, I think we're destined to do some really cool things.
I think so too. And I think that it was such an interesting feeling like going into this tournament and being in the tournament as a professional, because we're no longer like the people who are just doing this over summer for like while like college is on break. Like now this is like our career. But we talked to so many athletes about this, like specifically in beach volleyball, but just in general, I realized that like I think we're able to play like so free and like have the best time because me and you are both not looking at this as like, I said this in a previous episode, but this is not our financial, like this is not what we're relying on. Like whether I finish 7th or 9th is not going to be the difference whether I can make rent or not that month. Like that's a bottom line for me. And then I also think that like I love the sport so much and it's just so much fun to go out there and play these people and be the underdog the whole time. That like I have nothing to lose when I play that way. But if I play the way of like I have to win this game, I get really stressed and like I don't like feeling like, oh my God, I have something to lose, not have something to win. But I also think that it's really scary like feeling like you don't like belong in the arena. Like I knew that like we had come from the qualifier and so like people already are like, oh, you almost got like lucky coming in from the qualifier. Because like you're not in the main draw yet. You don't have enough points to be in the main draw yet. But there was a situation that Jaden and I were staying at a hotel, like we said, in Huntington, and we were both going to go in the hot tub. And we were going to go in the hot tub because it was good for our legs. And we walked up and there were just like all of the pros in the hot tub. And me and Jaden turned around so quickly and ran to my parents' hotel so we could use their hot tub. And I feel like to me, that's like the perfect example of like how I feel about these tournaments is I love it with you, but it's not so like it really stresses me out about like surrounding other professional athletes and like I don't want to get in their space. I don't want to like bother these people. It's the same thing with like the med tent. Like we're given access to all medical needs we need. But that Friday when we were like maybe we should go like get stretched out, we're like no, we're okay. Because it's just scary and it's like you don't feel like, for me at least, like I don't feel like I have a place there yet until I haven't earned a spot at the dinner table until I'm like qualifying for these main draws and I have something to like show these people what I've done.
Right. It is like an interesting dynamic being like the young ones or like even the rookies or whatever you want to call us, just because there's pros and cons to it. It's like playing, we have the feeling of just being free and getting to like be ourselves and not have to worry about expectations and what people are thinking of us. It's more just like we can go out there and play like us, and then if results happen, they happen. And it's like, okay, that's great. And then the downside right now is just like you're saying, just trying to figure out like how we fit in and like when to ask for things or like when to do things. That is an interesting feeling and kind of a dynamic to figure out.
I also think that I was talking about this with my mom on like when I was driving back from practice today, and I was just saying that like a lot of people come out of college and they play with someone older. Like it's a lot of the like duos you'll see is somebody who's like an experienced veteran and then you'll see a rookie come in and they partner up and it works out nicely usually for the rookie because the veteran's kind of showing you all the like how you do all the travel. They're going to align all the practices for you. They know the coaches. Payment wise, they know what to do.
Totally.
For us, we're completely alone. Like we really are figuring this out like as we go.
We're like, oh, should we get a coach for this?
And then we're also like, we're the only ones without a coach, mind you. I swear to God, everyone we played had a coach except for us.
So true.
And it's also like practices. Like it'll be like Friday and we're like, should we schedule a practice for Monday? And like, who do we ask? And do we DM them? Do we like people have their set practice plan for weeks out?
I know.
And so it's such a learning curve for us. But I also think that like I kind of like it that way. It's scary because like you don't know if you're making the right moves and stuff, especially now that we're playing internationally. Like I'm sure playing with a veteran, they would probably have a lot more guidance and understanding of when you book your flights, which hotel do you stay at, practice times, practice courts, stuff like that. But I also think that it's so cool that like we get to do this together in the sense of like we're both confused and like we both kind of get to figure out and trial and error. And then when we get to do it, it's like, wow, we did it like completely alone too. Like nobody really helped us get here. It's the same way like we had to play in that qualifier and like we're playing against teams that like we have no idea how they play because they're out of college 3 years now, 4 years now. But like we get to do it. So like I came out of that qualifier being like, I guarantee you had some of those main draw teams been in that qualifier, they wouldn't have come out.
So
but like we accomplished that as like rookies. Nobody was helping us out with that.
Yeah. We're just finding our way together.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like waiting for our next mistake. I think there's going to be like a big one soon, whether that be
big
like
learning life lesson.
Oh, we missed this flight. We didn't book this one.
I know.
But yeah, there's a lot of like moving pieces we still have to figure out.
Yes.
But yeah, our next tournament is Hamburg. So we leave for Germany on Monday and we are playing in this tournament called, I think it's called King of the Beach officially, but there's also like a Queen of the Court and stuff like that. It's a completely different style of play. it's queen of the court. I don't think I need to explain the different style of it, but it's only side out basically. It's like old school scoring. And yeah, we're basically walking into a tournament that's full of Olympians. We got really lucky by getting into this tournament, and I think it's going to be the best experience because, again, we're expected to do nothing. We're expected to go in there and lose we're not expected to score a point, literally. Yeah. So it's going to be fun because it's like I have nothing to lose here.
Yeah.
And then I think what was also great for both of us is we booked things after this tournament. Like, you're going to south of France, I'm going to Paris, and then we're meeting up in Paris, and it's like, you lose, okay, well, we have a vacation to get to. I just get to bump my vacation up a day.
I know, yeah. I'm really looking forward to this European adventure that we're about to go on. I think it's going to be kind of similar. It's going to be a similar mentality of we have nothing to lose. Like, we are playing Olympians. We just came out of college. I think it's just going to be fun to compete against that high of a level. And then also the whole environment. I'm really excited for it. It's everyone plays at night, which is different. I don't know the last time I played in a night game. So that's going to be really fun. I also heard that there's loud music. There's a lot of people. Everyone comes to watch, and it's like a big event. It's just going to be cool to, I don't know, it's just going to be completely different. So I'm looking forward to that experience. And then, like you said, get to go travel after and be in Europe and create new memories together too. I'm excited.
Totally. And I think that once we get back from Europe, it's like, for me, like my life completely like resets and starts. Like I'm moving into a new apartment June 15th, which is like probably like 10 days after we get back. I have a job that's starting then. And then I don't know, everything's changed. Like now I'm like completely in this different world. And then we also have more training to do, and we have more tournaments to play in.
Yes.
And if we play in certain tournaments, then that means we get into these tournaments, and it's more and more and more. And I just think it's so fun because like not knowing your exact plan is like perfect for a person like me, because I like to book things last minute and I like to do everything last second. So it's exciting that like to know that if we qualify for this, we get into this tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm not excited for the tournament to be over, but I'm excited for like everything coming in the next like 2 weeks, I would say.
It's a big time in our lives. And I literally was just asked this question, and someone asked me like, are you stressed, like not knowing what you're going to do, or like the big change of going from college when you have this, you know, routine and structure and then going to something else. And I said it does stress me out just a little bit because I am a planner and I like to know what is going to happen and what to expect. But I've kind of accepted this new life, and it's like, it's fun to be like, I don't really know what's going to happen in 3 months. And a lot of what I'm going to do is dependent on the summer and how we do. And I'm excited to just continue to play together and do this podcast and hopefully find a job as well. But I think the whole thing's really exciting.
I think so too. And I think that something that like we've been so passionate about is like building out our podcast, but also building out the brand itself. Like, I don't know if you saw, I'll also insert a picture, but we wore like her Playbook podcast sticker or temporary tattoos on our back the whole tournament. And I felt so proud to like rep something that like I am seriously like so obsessed with. And like, it's ours. Like it really is like something, the ideas that we have behind it for like this, and like going and visiting other schools and talking to other athletes and like young girls, like it's something that like, that is my dream career. Like, so it's like, it's cool that we get to say at like age 23 and recently, also Jaden's birthday was yesterday. She is recently 24.
It's fine. It's really no big deal, guys.
But it's cool to say at like 23 and 24, like we're building a brand and like we're doing something that like people wait years to do. And it's really scary, but it's cool to know that we have other things going on as well. So it's not like our only thing we're passionate about.
Totally.
But it is such a big passion of mine.
Yeah. I think we're going to do amazing things. And now with our summers and how things are like lining up, we're going to have more time to really do the things we love, like you're saying. And I think it's going to be so cool to go to schools, talk to athletes, go to our home clubs, and get to make an impact like right then and there. And I think that's something we've talked about and why we wanted to start this. I'm really, really excited for
and I think that back to what you were saying about like that question you were asked about, like, does it stress you out to not know your future? I was thinking about this. I've been asked a ton, and I'm sure you have too, because we've been asked it together. But when we were in Huntington, it's like a bunch of people are coming up to us and being like, oh my God, your season's over and you're done with UCLA. Like, how do you feel about it? And I feel like we've both kind of shared the same answer of like, first of all, how beautiful is it that like the day that our season ends, it's like we start training and we have something so exciting in the next coming weeks. And then also the day of our senior banquet where we're supposed to be so emotional and sad and just like kind of feel that loss.
Right.
We qualified for Huntington. So like we're turning around and playing Olympians the next day.
Yeah.
And so I felt like it feels so good moving on from UCLA right now. And like I'm seeing our group text where it's like they have weights and mandatory practice and mandatory this and this. And like I feel so grateful to be choosing my own schedule right now and to be like in charge of my life.
Yes.
And that's something that I am not taking for granted. Like I am in charge of my own life now.
It's
and
crazy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like I get to decide when I want to wake up in the morning and what I want to eat and what I want to lift and what I want to wear and what I want to do.
Yes.
And that is something that we have not been able to do for the past 5 years.
I know.
6 for you. And I just think that it's such an exciting time in our lives. And so every time somebody asks me that, I'm always like, I'm feeling really good about that. Even this morning, I was like, it was my time to go. There's nothing for me to be sad about. Obviously, I'm going to miss my friends and being that close to them, especially I just said bye to my roommate this morning. But I was like, that's the sad part for me.
Yeah.
But being tied to UCLA and being in college, I'll always be tied to UCLA.
Yes.
But like being in college is not for me anymore.
Yeah.
And like I'm ready to be done with that chapter. So I'm like very glad I'm out of it.
Me too. Yeah. Also, just like having the experience that we had at UCLA, we can now look back and just like be grateful for it.
Totally.
It's not something anymore that's like, I don't want to say a burden, like something that we have to do.
Yeah.
It's now just something that we look back on and it's just like, you know,
Yes.
that was a fantastic college experience. It's more than I ever expected. And I feel like I walked out a better person walking out than I did walking in.
For sure.
But now it's like, close the chapter. Let's go. Like, I'm excited.
Exactly. And I think that's something like while you're in college, you know you have to do that thing.
Yeah.
Like I knew throughout my last at least like 2 or 3 years, like I think in the beginning I was fighting it a little bit, being like, oh, I don't want to go to 8 a.m. weights.
Right.
I don't want to practice it every single day. I don't want to do this, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I think in my last years there, I was kind of like, I have to go do this.
Yeah.
Like you have to do this to do this result. And you have to do all these things. So you're like appreciative of that in the moment because you know you're not going to have that very longer. So there is the sense of structure you're not getting anymore. Right. Now I'm trying to figure out like weightlifting, who am I going to talk to? PT, who am I going to talk to? So many different like moving pieces that I didn't realize in the moment that UCLA did for me.
Right.
And so those pieces are definitely a little bit more stressful now that you have to do it yourself. But I also think like what you were saying, like it is such a great thing and so exciting that we get to do it ourselves. And I think that we put our due diligence into that UCLA time of knowing that we have to do it. So we're putting everything into that. And it's like a reward. Like you get to walk out now and be like, we just gave it our all, but now I get to do what I want. Thank you so much for your time. How did it feel for you being a rookie walking into Huntington?
I was just really excited. First of all, because we were going to be back playing together. And I think when we play together, we are at our best, or maybe I'm at my best just because I'm playing with you. And I was just excited to get back on the court and do something that I wanted to do, which was prove something. And I think playing in AVPs, we have this really cool opportunity to continue to surprise ourselves and surprise people. And walking out of the qualifier, I felt more confident because I was like, we just did something that we thought we maybe couldn't do.
Totally.
And so after that day ended and wrapped up, I was just like really excited to see what we could do walking into this 16 seeds or double elimination draw. I was just excited to see how we do. And these teams that we're playing are the best of the best. There were multiple Olympic teams in the top 5. So finishing 9th, I think, was just a confidence booster. And it was so much fun to do it with you and to have our families there and our boyfriends there and get to have the whole experience again of getting to play against the top of the best of the best. So I loved it. How about
I think so too. Like I said earlier, like I love going into situations being a rookie and like being the underdog, because I think that you can only win. Like I get scared playing people who I should beat, because I'm like, they're gonna come out of nowhere and do it.
Totally.
Like that always happens. Like you always hear that story. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But I think it's so interesting to be like playing against the people that you watch on your TV screens for so long, because it's like even playing against Julia and Betsy, I'd never played against either of them before. Julia a couple times maybe in college, but never in an AVP. And I've been watching them on the TV for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I thought that the level of fire for myself and for my opponents was going to be completely different, because it's like professional and people like to keep it quiet and people like to, like keep it calm. And in college, like we were just talking about, like people will get in your face and scream. And I didn't know how I was going to react. I thought I was going to be like really quiet killer and just kind of be like, ah, da, da, da.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love that like so much fire, if not more, comes out of those, because like for college, you're practicing against these, or you're not practicing with these people every day. So it's like you don't see them until you play. So you can only go fiery at them.
So true.
But for these people, they see each other the next day at practice. They have to see each other for the next week. So you can't go too crazy. So I thought. But I'm watching back these videos and it's like two teams are going against each other and they are screaming in each other's faces. And like you're seeing people who are like have been doing this for years have that same fire and passion, and like it brought it out of me of like screaming and like looking back at you and just being so excited. And I think that it's just a reminder, like coming off of Huntington is like a high, so it's like it's a reminder of why you continue to do things. And like I am sure there are going to be times where like, I mean even today, like we had a shitty practice and it's like there are going to be times where you're like, oh my god, like are you kidding? But for now, like so far in those big moments, I have been like so lucky and blessed, and like we've worked hard for it. So it's also part of that, but it makes you want to keep going. Like it's really like living off of that high where you're like, oh my God, I love that feeling. Yeah. We even turned to each other at the end of that Julia and Betsy match where like, again, we're supposed to lose by a lot. And we didn't. We like lost in the second set, like 23-21. And you are like, I remember being like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated because like we could have won that. Like we actually could have won that. Yeah. And then I'm like, we're like, you have to flip it and be like, wow, we're playing against like people who are like Olympians and win AVPs. And win AVPs. Yeah. And saying the fact that I could even come out of my mouth saying we could have won that is insane. Like, okay, now I'm ready for the next one. Like now I want another shot. I know. And I think that when I was younger, I used to shy away and hope that I didn't get that side of the bracket. And I hope that I didn't have to play the Olympians. Yeah. But now, because I'm so young and we have nothing to like lose really, I want to play I want to play the toughest teams possible. I've been wanting to play Melissa and Brandy, who are the Canadian Olympians who are going this year as well, and the top seeded team. Yeah. I've wanted to play them for years just because I idolize them so much. And I just want to I want to see how I do against them. I want to play them. And so it's so fun to come off of tournaments like that and know that like you're not scared to play these teams. I'm not scared to lose because I'm supposed to. I can get beaten bad and that's fine and walk away from that feeling good. But I think it's cool that I could be even frustrated that we lost a game against these amazing people.
I know. I think one of the biggest things that's coming out of this is like how important the underdog mentality is. Yes. And when you have this mentality of going in with, I have nothing to lose, I can be aggressive, I can go for this serve, this dig, whatever it is a huge advantage. Yes. And I think that anyone can have the underdog mentality.
Yeah, you have to find it. Yeah. Because you can find it. You could be the number one seed and supposed to win everything, but you could find a reason to make yourself the underdog.
It happened to us at UCLA. We were ranked 1 and 2 the entire year, but our mentality was that we were the underdogs because we hadn't won a national championship. So playing against young teams who are, ranked lower, it doesn't matter. Like we're still not on the top. Totally. So you can always find things to tell yourself.
The best at telling myself reasons why I should lose.
All right, so everyone just hit up Devon.
Just text me anytime. I will come up with literally any reason to lose. I will be like, because I eat up the underdog mentality. Because it's like I'm talking to myself twice. Because I know I'm telling myself these lies because I know I'm going to win. Right. So I'm like, this is to help me win. I'll be like, they'll be like a team like 4 years younger than me. And then like if I was playing against them, I'd be like, they're supposed to win. Like they can keep their shoulders warm all day. I can't anymore. Like you're actually supposed to beat me. If you're playing me in the third round,
they got young bones.
It's embarrassing if you don't beat me. So I can come up with anything. And I think that's fun. Like we could be the number 1 seed in the entire world and I will always find a reason of why we should lose. But it's a good thing. Like it's not a bad thing for me.
It's a golden nugget.
Well. All right. You want to do the outro?
I think that wraps up episode 10 of Her Playbook podcast with Devon and Jaden. Thank you so much for watching. Keep updated on our social media.
We've got some new things coming, some vlogs.
Yes, we got some vlogs coming up. We're going to vlog Europe, and we're really excited about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Bye.